It has been 4 months since the handover of my new townhouse in Canggu. It has been on the rental market for about 3 months now. And today I'm going to Bali to see how is it doing. Is it okay? Is there anything that needs to be fixed or repaired? Anything that needs to be enhanced? How did my ideas on the interior design really turn out in real life? So I will stay there for 1 week to experience it as a guest and also check up on it. And in this video, I will also walk you through the rental success of the first 3 months. So when your villa starts out with no bookings, fresh profile on Airbnb, no bookings and no reviews, how does it work in terms of getting bookings? What are the rates? Is it profitable? How profitable is it? So I will walk you through that. If you follow me on my plane to Bali and see how my townhouse is doing in the first 3 months. So I'm back in my little townhouse after more than 3 months. The pool pump is working. That looks all good and fine. However, the cushions for the bench are not there. I will ask my staff what's going on with that. They, I think, are quite important. But let's have a look at the inside. So the painting I wanted is there. The mirrors look fine. This is not exactly as I was hoping for it. The cable is hanging out at the bottom. And the whole idea of this setup was that it can be used as a desk as well. And not just as a TV. With the whole idea that you can just plug it in to your computer and everything is already working. Unfortunately, that's not exactly what I'm finding now. I thought I can give it a try. Can you put a USB-C charger in your Airbnb, or will it get lost along the way? And it turns out it gets lost along the way. So either you bolt down things really tightly or expect to lose it. And that means not just that you have to replace it, but you also have to monitor it. Is it still there? You have to do that quite frequently. And the Indonesian staff might not really have an eye for that. So that is one thing. And the whole setup, if a guest comes in and he has to play with the wires, figure out how it works, that's not the idea. That's not cool. So this is something I need to think about. How can I make this better? But for someone who likes to work and is here for more than just 2 or 3 days, you will figure that out and hopefully be able to enjoy it. Now, a couple other things I notice here. The decoration is not exactly the way I would put that. So some of the cases are empty, and some have like mosquito spray or poison for cockroaches. As decoration, personally, I don't find that a good decoration for an Airbnb. But apart from that, pretty much all good. I guess it would be nice to have a bit more comfortable style in here, so maybe I have some ideas how to improve. The wireless access point up there works actually quite well. Some more construction going on in the neighborhood, but by and large everything okay. And I had noticed that the shower does not work with cold water anymore, at least not this one. The big one does. But no cold water, only hot here. So I wonder who, as a guest, reports these kind of things. because the staff likely will not notice. All right, so let's walk through the rental business results. I've prepared a little Excel sheet and I list the revenue, the expenses and all that for each month. So let's go through it one by one and see how much do you actually get in the first couple months on the market. And you can guess beforehand and see, is it disappointing? Is it better than you expect? Let's have a look. So July, the handover was early July and I had all the construction chaos here happening in the first week of July, but it was actually only on the market about mid of July, roughly 15th. So obviously the best possible occupancy would be 50% on that month. And I actually had 42%. So it was pretty much from beginning of booked, it's high season, but the rates were very low. So it's really short notice bookings in the high season. I made a revenue of $649.34 US. Now this revenue is after the platform fees, after the local tax, and after the expenses from the villa management, but not after the operating expenses like electricity and cleaning and all that stuff. So the expenses were $1,022.29. Now, I have to say that's not just operating expenses. In the first month, there was a little bit of expense from my own stay, but mostly there was some additional furniture that I wanted them to buy. I think the insurance was in that one as well. I'm not entirely sure, that might have been in September. But you have a lot of once a year expenses, but mostly for the first month it was additional furniture that was requested. So that leaves me with an operating profit of minus $373. And the average rate was 76 US dollar. So that's the first half month. Doesn't really give you any indication whether it's a good investment or not. Now August, still high season, still a good occupancy with 84%, still very much bookings coming in on short notice. The average rate was only slightly better and I have to say very much disappointing considering it's high season, it's a good location, nice place. So 82.43 US dollar average rate. And that gives me a revenue of 1,415 US dollar. Expenses now at a more normal level. So that's what I can expect in a normal month without insurance cost or anything coming up. So minus 653 US dollar for expenses, so that's cleaning, electricity, staff salaries, all that. Leaves me an operating profit of 762.59 US dollar. So that's obviously far below the expectation, which would be more like 2,000 US dollar operating profit on a monthly basis. Let's look at September. The occupancy, great, 93%, but that comes at a price, and the price is a lower average rate. So back to 76.84 US dollar. And that gives me a revenue of 1,408.75 US dollars. So very similar to what I had in August. Expenses were 1197, so I believe this is where the insurance, the annual expense for the insurance comes in, building insurance. So that leaves me with an average, with an operating profit of 211.71 US dollar. Obviously a disappointment. Now October, back to a more normal scenario, no unusual expenses like insurance or no new furniture or anything. 81% occupancy, again, that's not bad. That's really not too bad. And the average rate, despite October being low season, was 92.51 US dollars. So very slowly getting there. But again, far below expectations. So the revenue is 1,524, so slowly increasing, but again, for low season, not complaining, still in the early stage. And the expenses back to the more normal level of $666, roughly the year will be a normal level, and an operating profit of $860. Still very much disappointing, but that's how it is. Now, what I have noticed is, of course, in this street here, in this area, and exactly in this street, when you look at Airbnb, you see a couple of absolutely identical units. They might have a different painting, slightly different decoration, but the developer obviously copy-pasted a half a dozen identical townhouses next to each other. And the market needs some time to absorb this supply, and that has not happened yet. So when you as a guest, you want to book something and you see 3 identical places next to each other and one costs $10 more than the others, you will probably take the cheaper one. So that's why it takes some time for the prices of these properties to reach a reasonable market level. Now keep that in mind. If you're considering buying something in a larger development, I've seen townhouse developments that have 40 identical units. Now think about what that means in terms of the market absorbing 40 identical units. You will be competing with your neighbors, the rates will be low, and it's going to be really, really hard to make a profit out of that. So these are the first 3.5 months on the market, and I'm looking forward to the Christmas season. That should be a peak season and hopefully better rates. So let's see how that goes. But by and large, I only expect next year to really adjust to the market level and slowly get to the rates and occupancy that it should have in order to be a good, reasonable investment as well. So that's how it looks like. Let me know what you think in the comments below. And if you want to get further updates on the first year of this villa on the market, follow the channel, subscribe for more. And I will also give another update on my villa in Ubud very soon. So stay tuned for that one.